Hello, welcome to a Gobbet Opus 39, Drug Ferver, or Drug Fever, from October 23rd, 2008. All that glitters is not gold, all who wander are not lost, all who are febrile are not infected. Ancient Elvish saying, and probably Elvis said it as well. Fever, fever, fever. All my patients have fever. Diagnostic code 780.6. Why does the patient have a fever? This week, one of the patients had a fever, I think, that was due to drugs. The patient came in with an infection, and with the might of the medical industrial complex, the infection resolved. The white count decreased. She felt better, but after a period of time, the fever returned. Routine workup was negative, so they called me. I did not find an infection either to account for the fever, so I looked at the drug list. Could it be a drug fever? Vancomycin and Zosyn were the only drugs to worry about as a cause of fever. So when do you worry about a drug fever? Well, the patient has a fever and they're on a drug, hence the name. There are other hints. Continuous fever, where the temperature does not fall to normal, is an inconsistent finding for drug fever. Usually with infections, fevers fall down to baseline and go up again. But if they're 39 degrees consistently 24/7, really think about drug fever. Eosinophilia is another hint of drug fever, but is even more inconsistent than a continuous fever. Unfortunately, it can be any drug, anytime. It can be with the first dose or the 100th dose. So you have to play the odds. Antibiotics are not an unusual cause of drug fever. My babies cause harm. Now, since the onslaught of the MRSA era, I have been using vancomycin by the bucketful, and it seems that vancomycin is an extremely common cause of drug fever, as are beta-lactams, which we don't use much anymore, and sulfa. Of the unimportant drugs, i.e. those that are not antibiotics, H2 blockers and anti-seizure drugs lead the list. In the end, you have to stop the drug and see if the fever goes away, and that usually takes about 4 half-lives of the drug. The only way to prove it is a drug fever is to re-challenge the patient. And you can do this safely, since drug fever is a toxic reaction, not an allergic reaction, and it is rarely done. The few times I have seen re-challenge have occurred when there is a change in house staff and the patient is inadvertently restarted on the medication that I thought caused the drug fever. Whoops. After stopping the antibiotics, her fever curve drifted down over 48 hours. It was probably the vancomycin, although I can't exclude the Zosyn as the cause. He shoots. He scores. No fever for 48 hours. Then, just to piss me off, she has another fever. Just one, and it doesn't recur. I often wonder about what I call the 8-day fever. Many people come in with an infection, they get better, the fever drifts away, then on day 8 or so, they have one spike, workup is negative, and they have no further fevers. I wonder, though I can't prove, if this marks the onset of the antibody response to whatever their infection is, and they have a quick burst of inflammation as a result. I call it the 8-day fever, and I tend to ignore it. Somebody needs to have a study to prove this thesis. The patient had no more fevers, but the 8-day fever was a mustache on the Mona Lisa of my diagnosis. The relevant reference was drug fever, from the Infectious Disease Clinics of North America, 1976, Volume 10, page 85. And that ends another Gobbet Opus. Oh yeah, don't forget to vote for me over at podcastawards.com. Make my Crackcast the winner.